particular. Take Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. White supremacy and patriarchy are linked in a lot of ways, she says, meaning that America's systemic racism is a systemic problem with men. Author John Stoltenberg writes that talking about healthy masculinity is like talking about healthy cancer. Professor Susanna Walters of Northeastern University says it seems logical to hate men unless they pledge to vote for feminist women only.
Hey everyone! Today I'm diving into a hot topic that's got everyone talking. Senator Josh Hawley's recent speech about American masculinity. He's taking on AOC and the left, arguing that they're not just critiquing men, but aiming to deconstruct American society itself. According to Hawley, this isn't just a gender issue, it's about undermining the foundational values that keep our republic strong. He's calling for a revival of what he calls strong, responsible manhood. Think family, marriage, liberty, and self-government. Hawley's got some sharp critiques of the left's portrayal of America as systemically unjust. He points to President Biden's policies on racial and gender equity, and AOC's comments linking systemic racism to patriarchy. He argues that intellectuals and educators are unfairly demonizing traditional masculinity, calling it inherently oppressive. But wait, there's more.
I want to focus tonight on the deconstruction of men, not because I think men are more important, but because I believe the attack on men has been the tip of the spear in the left's broader attack on America. And because this attack, the attack on men, is already far advanced. But even as I describe the danger, there is cause for hope. For while the left's assault on manhood has been sharp and prolonged, it has not yet succeeded. And we must make it our business as conservatives to see that it does not succeed. More than that, we must seek a revival of strong and healthy manhood in America. We need men who will shoulder responsibility, men who will start and provide for families, men who will enter the covenant of marriage and then honor it. We need men to raise up sons and daughters after them, to pass on the great truths of our history and our culture, to defend liberty, to share in the noble work of self-government. We need the kind of men who make republics possible. And it's not too much to say that our ability to get those kinds of men, those kinds of citizens, will determine the success of our long experiment in liberty. Let me just start by pressing home this point to you, that the left's attack on America leads directly to an attack on men. For years now, Democrats and other leftists have insisted that America is systemically oppressive and unjust. They've said it so much and so often, to them it's a truism. It's the very cornerstone of their worldview. Just listen to the President of the United States. Joe Biden has, as president, repeatedly decried America's systemic racism. His administration has loudly called for a new gender equity agenda to right the structural injustices of our society. His nominees have advocated critical race theory and training in equity for federal workers. This past week, the administration celebrated the introduction of an X gender marker on American passports. Did you see this? X meaning neither male nor female, just so you're keeping up. All of this points to how important the deconstructionist agenda is for Team Biden and for the American left. I mean, you think about it. Inflation may be rampant. Store shelves are bare. It costs $100 to fill up a minivan in America, but the administration will not be deterred from focusing on the important issues. They are laser focused on exposing just how bad America is. That's their top priority. Other prominent liberals have taken this the next step and identified America's many alleged woes with men in particular. Take Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. White supremacy and patriarchy are linked in a lot of ways, she says, meaning that America's systemic racism is a systemic problem with men. Author John Stoltenberg writes that talking about healthy masculinity is like talking about healthy cancer. Professor Susanna Walters of Northeastern University says it seems logical to hate men unless they pledge to vote for feminist women only and don't run for office. Now, this line of thinking, I have to tell you, it's hardly new. As I'm sure you know, the critical theory of deconstruction runs back to mid-century intellectuals like Jacques Derrida and Herbert Marcuse, and farther back to the Frankfurt School of the 1930s, and back farther still to Marx. Nor is it new to blame men for society's ills. You know, Marcuse is particularly interesting in this regard. He was one of the leading lights of the 1960s counterculture. And he thought that Marx was right to call American society oppressive, but wrong, or to call Western society oppressive, but wrong to see that that oppression was principally economic. That was Marx's mistake. No, the really oppressive thing about American society, according to Marcuse, was culture. And while Marx pinned his hopes on the working class, the proletariat, working class men really in particular, Marcuse saw those same men as the problem. They were too culturally conservative, too hidebound, too traditional. Now, Marcuse concluded that the revolution would only come from the well-educated elite who could see beyond mirages like gender and manhood. Which brings us back to today's American left. They have swallowed that theory whole, and they are repeating it from every platform where they have power, which is just about everywhere. University curricula abound with seminars on masculinity and its defects. To take just one example of the kind of thing that's on offer, consider Professor David Cohen of the Drexel Klein School of Law. Traditional masculinity, he says, has oppressed girls and women and limited the identity construction of all boys and men. Seminar at Williams College, which is called Performing Masculinity in Global Popular Culture, asks, why must masculinity be the purview of males at all? It's an important question. Answering that, by the way, will cost you $75,000 a year. You know, even our military academies are in on the act. West Point reportedly held mandatory events last year addressing gender norms, including toxic masculinity. One cadet said afterward, "I'm being taught how not to be a man."
Hawley links these critiques to a broader deconstructionist agenda rooted in Marxist and critical theory. This is showing up in educational and military institutions where seminars and curricula focus on the supposed harms of traditional masculinity. He's also raising alarms about some worrying trends. Men are dropping out of higher education at higher rates, with women now making up the majority of college students. Hawley warns that these cultural shifts could threaten the future of American democracy. So, what's his solution? Hawley is urging conservatives to defend traditional manhood. He's advocating for policies that support families and marriages, like tax incentives, and calls for rebuilding industries that traditionally employed men, like manufacturing. He believes it's crucial to teach virtues in homes, classrooms, and churches. It's a powerful message that's sure to stir up debate. What do you think? Is Hawley right about the crisis of masculinity, or is this just political posturing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more content like this.